In the middle of all the chaos of war, amidst the clash of nations and giant armies, sometimes these true masterpieces of engineering just appear. They're brilliant, they're deadly, perfectly designed for that one moment in time, and then they're just lost to history, becoming little more than a whisper. Well, today, we're going to uncover the story of one of those masterpieces.
Exceptional. Just one single word. But when that word comes from the German Luftwaffe in 1943, well, that's some serious praise. I mean, these guys were the masters of wartime aviation. But here's the kicker. They weren't talking about one of their own famous Messerschmitts or Focke-Wulfs. Nope. This was for an Italian fighter, a machine that left even them completely in awe.
So, let's meet this machine. This is the Reggiane Re.2005 Sagittario, which means the Archer. It was the absolute peak, the pinnacle of Italian piston engine fighter design, and it was born right in the final desperate years of World War II, when the name of the game was speed and firepower.
Okay, to really get why the Sagittario was so special, you need to understand Italy's Serie 5. Think of it as an elite club of fighters, the best of the best that Italy could produce. They were designed specifically to go toe-to-toe with planes like the Spitfire and the Mustang. And right there with its famous cousins, the Macchi C205 and the Fiat G55, the Re.2500 was the ultimate evolution. It wasn't just built to fight, it was designed for total supremacy.
So, what was the secret sauce? What made this aircraft so incredible? Well, to find that out, we've got to look under the skin, starting with the powerful engine that was beating right at its core. And trust me, this is where the story gets really interesting. That's right, the heart of Italy's greatest fighter was German. It was powered by the legendary Daimler-Benz DB 605, the very same type of engine that powered the fearsome Messerschmitt Bf 109. This move gave the Re.2005 a kind of power and reliability that was absolutely world-class.
And what a heart it was. We're talking about some serious muscle here. This V12 engine was churning out a massive 1,475 horsepower. That raw power was the foundation for everything that made the Sagittario a true apex predator of the skies.
But power is one thing. If you can't use it, what's the point? This wasn't just about brute force. The Italian engineers paired this beast of a German engine with a fuselage that was pure art. It was streamlined with these sleek elliptical wings that cut down on drag and made it incredibly nimble. That combination of raw power and slick design created one of the fastest Axis fighters of the entire war.
So just how fast are we talking? Well, it could hit a top speed of 628 kilometers per hour. That's about 390 miles per hour. This put it right up there in the top tier of performance, totally capable of chasing down Allied bombers and getting into a dogfight with the best fighters they had.
Okay, so it's fast, but can it fight? Oh yeah, the Sagittario wasn't just fast and graceful, it was incredibly deadly. Let's take a look at its arsenal. I mean, just look at this loadout. It packed a serious punch. You've got 3 20mm cannons, one of them firing right through the propeller hub, which is just devastating. And then backing those up were 2 heavy machine guns. This thing could tear apart heavy bombers and enemy fighters, no problem. And it could even carry bombs, making it a truly versatile threat. So we've got the speed, we've got the firepower, but how did this lethal combination actually do in a real fight in the crucible of combat? The answer is brilliantly.
Its big moment came in 1943. Picture this. Allied bomber fleets are just swarming the skies over southern Italy. The very few Sagittarius that were ready were thrown right into the fight, their job to intercept these massive formations. It was a true baptism by fire.
And the pilots, the lucky few who got to fly it, they were absolutely blown away. They raved about its superb agility, how precise its controls were, even way up in the thin air of high altitudes. It could climb like a rocket and turn on a dime, which gave them that critical edge they needed against enemy fighters. So let's get this straight. Italy had a genuine, world-beating fighter, a machine that could have truly made a difference. But this is where the story takes a turn, because the Sagittario story is ultimately a tragedy of timing.
And that just makes you wonder, right? If this plane was so good, why have so few people ever heard of it? Why didn't it change the course of the air war? What on earth went wrong?
Here's why. Only around 30. That's it. A shockingly small number for an aircraft with so much potential. 30 aircraft, no matter how brilliant they are, simply can't win a war. The truth is, the Sagittario was a victim of just terrible luck and circumstance.
As this timeline shows, it was basically born into a nation that was collapsing. By the time it saw combat in 1943, Italy was dealing with an Allied invasion and was just crippled by internal turmoil. The factories faltered, resources disappeared, and production just ground to a halt. The plane was perfect, but its timing couldn't have been worse.
But even as its own story was ending, its biggest rival and ally was about to deliver the final defining verdict on its greatness. So after Italy's armistice, the Germans finally got their hands on the RE-2005. And their test pilots were, to put it mildly, stunned. They praised its excellent handling and were just deeply impressed by its aerodynamic refinement. They were so impressed, in fact, they seriously considered putting it into production themselves for the Luftwaffe. But by then, time had just run out. And so we come right back to where we started, to that one single word. The word used by the masters of the air to describe a fighter from their struggling ally. A word that captures both its brilliance and its tragedy: exceptional.